Well, let's get hacking. Let's do it again. Alright, well, let's get hacking. This is what we're hacking today. I actually don't care what the model is. All I want to know is that I don't already have it. What I like to do when I get a new router like this is that I plug it in, I don't reset it at all, and I just see if I can hack it. This is apparently a platinum version. It's got range of 5 dots, speed of 4 dots, and security of 4 dots, because that makes sense. We've got a really cool wizard. That just means it's magic. This one is platinum, and it has complete network security. I love it when people use words like that. Effortless toss. It landed perfectly right here. It even plugged itself in to the back into a network port. Oh my goodness, it didn't plug into the laptop. Let's do it! The router's set up now. Perfect. Now we need to make sure that Routersploit is installed properly on your machine. Pause the video at any time, and I think we need some good music. Awesome, so now we've got Routersploit installed, and we've got our router attached to our virtual machine. Perfect. Before we go forward, we need to make one thing clear. When we're dealing with a router, this is my router, two things. The internal network, so local area network, or we're going to be dealing with the outside. So when we're doing penetration tests, we might not have access to that network, so we're going to be probing the outside, the external IP address. When we're dealing with the inside, we're going to be having one point of entry, which is the gateway. And right now in the video, we are working with dealing with the gateway. All right, let's keep going. You're doing great. Right now I'm going to check the connection information to see what the default route is on this. There's a number of ways that you can do this, but we're going to do it through the GUI here. And you can see right over here that our gateway is going to be 0.1. Let's go through the browser and connect to the gateway. And it brings us to the splash screen for our router that we're doing some vulnerability testing on. All right, so we've got Routersploit installed. We can ping the gateway, and all we need to do now is run it against the gateway of the router that we are testing. So let's go ahead and do that. Run the Python script, and now you're going to notice it's very similar to Metasploit. So we're going to choose a very basic scan, and I always start with this one because it can find some of those low-hanging fruit, and that's what we really want before we get digging into deeper things. And so we've selected autopwn, and now just like Metasploit, we can also show options, and so we've got a variety of things we can do here, but I'm only going to do two things. So we can see right away that I've got an empty target, so let's set target. And you don't see it as an option, but I always like to set the HTTP port. Now by default it should just go to that port, but I want to make sure that it does that. So I always set it. So let's go do that. And we're ready to launch this thing. So type run and go for it. Now it's going to go through a ton of vulnerabilities. It's going to check for those things, and you're just going to have to wait. The scan is now complete, and what we've come back with is a specific exploit that can be run on our target. Now, if it had multiple things that it had found, they would all be listed here. So let's go ahead and use this exploit.
And it comes back with something really interesting. What we have here is that it's telling us to actually insert this into a browser. So let's go ahead and copy this and paste this into our URL. And there you go. We are in the network settings of the router that we're trying to hack. Now, an interesting thing about this hack is that we can bounce around to different areas, and it's going to go back. It's going to redirect to the login, which is fine because what we can do is change some settings potentially. Remember when we ran Routersploit? It came back with 2 lines that we can run in the URL. We've already run the first one. Let's go in and try to run the second line the exact same way that we did the first one. And we get very different things. So now we're managing the wireless connection, which is super interesting because now we can see we've got the wireless network name, and we've got the encryption, and we've very, very important, we actually have the key to access this.
All right, so what did we learn here? Well, we learned that we can buy dirt cheap network equipment from secondhand stores, and we can do testing on it to find out what's actually inside there. How is this thing configured? Is it hackable? And what we learned today is that yes, they are hackable, and even though something might say complete network security, it doesn't really mean anything. When I connected on the local area network side, I was able to use Routersploit and test for vulnerabilities, and I was able to find something very important. I was able to connect in there and figure out what the wireless network key was, which is great because now I can go on and do some more testing through the wireless side of things. So you might be thinking, well, we didn't crack the wireless key. Well, you know, a lot of the attacks that require cracking need to have a user using the wireless so that we can interject into that handshake when they're trying to connect. If there's nobody on the network, it's going to be very hard to do that. We went in through the local area network, through the gateway, and was able to obtain what the key was that way. Hey, thanks for watching.